Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is good MF Michael Flecha alongside my good buddy Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the arrival of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, then great. If he doesn't, then we will wait. We will hope to see him very soon. This is it, guys. Tomorrow night is the big night from the formerly the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It will be the skydome for the Elimination Chamber. The chamber is in the building. They put it up yesterday afternoon. If you've seen the photos, um, it has been created. It is set. It is ready to go. But before we get there, obviously, we got some other stuff that we need to cover, including TNA wrestling. So, obviously, we are going to cover TNA first, and then we'll get into SmackDown Live. And then later tonight, we will preview the Elimination Chamber. That will be from the Sky Dome in Toronto uh, on the WWE, on Peacock in the United States, on the WWE network around the world. Well, no, now on Netflix around the world. WWE network's no longer. It went bye bye. So, but whatever the case may be, that will be the setup for you, y'all. And that will be what we got here tonight on this show. So, with that said, we do dive on in to TNA, and we started it off with a promo segment by Moose, and it was kind of what you expected. It was cookie cutter by numbers. There wasn't really anything amazing about it. I thought they did a fine. It was okay for what it was worth. Nothing really amazing. So we're just gonna dive right into the first fight of the night, which was Oral Mensa. Um, Oral Mensa, of course, I guess you could say a stable mate or a member of Metaphor, and he went up against Mike Santana. Mike Santana wins the match in 5 minutes and 4 seconds. This is an alright opener. I thought it was a good match. Good win for Mike Santana. That was exactly what he needed. Um, Oral Mensa, dude, I feel bad for him right now, man. He's kind of had a little bit of a rough streak lately, more than anything else. But I will say this: Mike Santana, man, once getting away from that other company, and now he's kind of found his niche in TNA. And you know what? There's some people out there that thinks that Mike Santana could be a future threat, not only for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but there's been some people out there that's like, you know what? Why don't we put him for the NXT Championship? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, that would be pretty interesting. But there was also one other thing at the end. Mustafa Ali and his cabinet kind of started talking about who's the real Mike Santana. What's that about? Looks like we got a rivalry on a total rivalry coming up, man. But I will tell you, there's some roasting going on, and I gotta say, Mustafa Ali and his cabinet, boys, you outdid yourself with this one. This was a nice rip job of Mike Santana. You definitely were not drinking the Kool-Aid. I know that much. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
This was a nice showcase for Santana, who is gearing up for his first big match with Mustafa Ali. That is going to be a hell of a showdown when it happens, and TNA has done a very good job of making him feel like a star. What matters the most is keeping these new names strong, and Santana is doing rather well. For the match, I will give it 2.5 stars. But MF, you said it. You said everything right. I mean, Mike Santana, without question, a future TNA heavyweight champion. I believe he will be that at some point. I don't know when. Depends on how long they want to keep it on Henry. But for right now, I mean, NXT Championship. Well, I mean, with this crossover, I mean, you never know. I mean, that would be all kinds of interesting, no doubt about that. But lots to think about for sure, absolutely. So for right now, 2.5 stars and a nice showcase for Mike Santana. And great to see Oro Mensah back. We haven't seen him. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's been a lot more than a minute since we've seen Oro Mensah. I mean, I guess he's been battling injury. We know Noam Dar's been battling injury as well. And when it comes to the Metaphor, the only Metaphor members we've seen as of late have been Chikara Jackson and Lash Legend.
Yes.
But it was great to see Oro back. So who knows? Maybe he's off the injured list. I don't know. But whatever the case, great to see him back. And but this was about getting a win for Santana here, and him and Mustafa Ali. That's going to be a great matchup. I would not be surprised if they add that to the sacrifice card in 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens with it. So solid 2.5 for this. So with that being said, MF, let's move on.
Well, here it is. Tessa Blanchard, hand-picked opponent, and she got Kelsey Heather, and it was Tessa Blanchard winning the match in 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Well, look, she was told if you don't show up, you were going to be fired. She showed up. She did everything she did. She fought. So obviously that basically secures that pleases Santino. So now Tessa is fine. He's now out of the crosshairs for now of Santino Marella. This was a short fight. We don't really need to get into this, Anthony. It was more of a showcase. Short, sweet, straight to the point. Yeah, so I think it was fine for what it was fine for what went down. Now we had Steve Macklin going one-on-one with Casey Navarro, and it was Steve Macklin winning the match in 6 minutes and 39 seconds. Anthony, why don't you come on in and give us your thoughts on this one?
Well, before I do, Tessa Blanchard at the Sacrifice pay-per-view will be going one-on-one with Lei Ying Lee. That ought to be interesting. So, but anyways, getting into this, another 2.5 star match. I thought it was just a step above the opener in a very similar vein, as Steve Macklin is on his way to a big match against Eric Young. Casey Navarro was a bit better competition for him, and Macklin looked good in his win. I'm still not sold on EY as some big villain, but TNA seems to love it for reasons I do not know. So I'll give this another solid 2.5 star effort. Outcome never in doubt. I had a feeling that Macklin was gonna go over here. So not much more. There's not much more there. So solid 2.5. MF, what says you?
Yeah, I'll give it 2.5. I thought they did a really good job with this. Solid for what it's worth, and yeah, we can just move right on along. And the next up that we did have here, was all right. Here we go. This was highly anticipated. So it was for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. It was Spitfire, Jody Threat, and Danny Luna. They went up against Ash and Heather by Elegance. Now, here is the fact. The winner of this match becomes the TNA Tag Team Champions, Women's Knockouts Tag Team Champions. The losers of this match needs to be the personal concierge of the winners. And what I've been told, it's only for 24 hours. The winners of this match in 8 minutes and 12 seconds, and still the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Danny Luna, Jody Threat, Spitfire wins it all. Well, Okay. I know a lot of people are like, let's end the storyline here. The feud was fine for what it was worth. The chemistry was fine. They did a good job. It was entertaining. The women looked really well. So fine match. I don't mind the whole situation, and I don't mind about how this ended. So for me, fine for what it was worth. Great win for Spitfire, successfully defending the titles. I actually thought it was going to go the other way, though. I honestly thought Ash and Heather by Elegance was going to win this, and then that Spitfire was going to be the personal concierge of them for that time, and that would have been interesting. But it went the other way around. Don't mind it; it's fine. I kind of feel like this is not the end of the storyline, but it's been long enough. Don't you feel like I think that they need to go a different direction here. I would love to see them go a different direction. Like I said, everything was fine. The match was good. The chemistry was there. But I think these two teams have run their course. It's time for a new tag team to step up in TNA. I mean, now that you're working with NXT and WWE, maybe one of these tag teams finally jump up, go after these knockouts titles. I mean, it'd be nice. So for me, it's about 2.5 stars. That's my personal rating. Anthony, it's all yours.
2.5 to 2.75 of a star. Good stuff here with the right result. The whole point is to have the stuck-up villains get what is coming to them, which is what Spitfire will be doing. The match was acceptable as well, as tends to be the case when these teams are together. Just find something else for them to do once this is over, though, as this should be the blow-off or close to it. So, not really much more to add there, and not sure what else there is to add on to this. So I'll give this about 2.5 to 2.75 of a star for the effort. And well, it's going to be very interesting to see what Spitfire has in store for Ash and Heather by Elegance. And but the Knockouts tag team division definitely needs some work. We need some more tag teams. We need some more competition in that division for Spitfire. And I just don't know who there is right now. So maybe they get some people from NXT. I don't know. Maybe the Meta Girls. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But we'll see what happens. 2.5, 2.75. So not much more to say. MF, let's continue on here.
Well, the next one we had was Malice Warner versus Sami Callihan, but this never really got off the ground. Basically, Sami Callihan was not having it. Sami went for the stunner early, got hit a stunner immediately, dragged Malice to the ringside, decided, you know what? I'm just going to use a chair and just beat the crap out of him. And the fight gets thrown out. It basically ends in 30 seconds. And it basically went nuts, chaos running amok. And the next thing you know, Santino's like, all right, that's it. I've seen enough. This has to end. You two, we're running this back. And we're going to do this at Sacrifice, and it's going to be a street fight. Sami Callihan, Malice Warner, street fight, Sacrifice, done deal. We don't need to get into that. We could totally blow by this fight. Next up, Frankie Kazarian versus Ace Austin. Frankie Kazarian winning the match in 5 minutes and 56 seconds. Anthony Florio, give me a quick thought on this one.
2.25, 2.5. They didn't have much time here, and it was more about the interference than anything else. But what matters the most is having a solid match between two good wrestlers. That's what we had here, which should not be a surprise given who was out there. Frankie Kazarian needs to cash that trophy in already, but that has to be dragged out for months instead. So we'll give this about, I was going to give it 2.5, but because of the interference, I'm going to bump it down to 2.25. Solid match though. So not much more to add. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think they did a good job with it. I think it was a solid match, just to say the very least. And it could have been better in certain areas, but like you said, I think 2.25, 2.5 is the right rating. I can't be too mad about it. I thought they did a fine job with it. I wish it could have been better in certain areas, but again, I'm not picking a fight on it. I think they did a fine job, so nothing more to say. We go into the main event of the evening, and this one was the big one. It is the system. Moose, Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards, of course, Alicia Edwards in their corner, and they went up against Obafemi, Matt Hardy, and Jeff Hardy, the TNA World Tag Team Champions. Moose, the X Division Champion, and Obafemi, the NXT Champion. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 10 minutes and 20 seconds, the system, Moose, Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards getting the win, and Moose gets the pin on Matt Hardy with the spear. Anthony Florio, it is all yours, my friend.
Fight of the night here. 3.25, 3.5 for the effort. A pretty wild match here with Moose getting a win to move himself back into a better place after some recent losses. There is almost no way this whole thing is over, though, as this is a mixture of some of the bigger stories in TNA. Throw in Joe Hendry, and it could get even bigger. And then post-match, Santino Marella books Moose versus Jeff Hardy in a ladder match for the X Division Championship at the Sacrifice event. And then he also makes a 10-man tag team match with and it's going to be all members of the system. You got Moose, you got JDC, you got Eddie Edwards, you got Brian Myers, and probably one other or the Colognes. And then he said that Matt Hardy and Joe Hendry would have 3 mystery partners of their choosing. We're going to have to see who that is. That's going to create some intrigue. So we'll give this about 3.25, teetering on 3.5 for the effort. So fight of the night here, no doubt about it. And it all leads to the big match on March 11th at the theater in Madison Square Garden when Obafemi defends the NXT Championship against Moose. What a match that's going to be. What a night that's going to be. So,
and actually, Anthony Florio, I just found out that not only is that, but if you remember, when Obafemi cut it his promo, he actually mentioned title for title. Now, I know there's nothing official, but
yeah, that's right.
He did mention title for title. So I think if for some reason Moose gets by, we might have another unification fight. We might have the X Division and the NXT titles on the line as well in New York.
Well, we got a bit of time to still build it, so we shall see. But for right now, 3.25, teetering on 3.5, fight of the night for me, no doubt about it. And not much else to say. MF, your thoughts on the main event?
I thought they did well. Like you said, I think the main event was fine. I thought they did a very good job with it. So yeah, 3.25, 3.5, no doubt about it. And yeah, I don't think there's really nothing more to say. So we now move on to the overall review. I'm going to give it about 7.5 out of 10. I think it was a fine show. I thought they did a really good job. I think it could have been a little better in certain areas, but I'm not gonna be too mad about it. I think, like I said, I think they did a very fine job, and they did a really good job with how this played out. So, nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
7.25, 7.5 for me. Nice show here as they advanced a bunch of stories on their way to Sacrifice in 2 weeks. Sacrifice is turning into a big enough special despite the bigger shows coming up in the following weeks. The second round of the NXT crossovers have been far better, and Obafemi alone has made the show feel more important. Good effort this week with the bigger stuff getting closer. 7.25, 7.5 out of 10. And now it's on to Toronto for Friday Night SmackDown.
We do indeed. We do indeed go into SmackDown Live from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, home of the Toronto Raptors and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh, by the way, big win for the Maple Leafs tonight, taking down our New York Rangers. Yes, I know. We're not really in a good mood about that, but hey, good win for Toronto. They got it. So here we go. We started it off with Anthony Florio. This was a Florio special right out of the gate. You know what? How to rope Anthony Florio into SmackDown Live because he's normally a Monday Night Raw guy? Oh, why don't you just bring him his two favorite women in the entire world right now? Trish the finish, and then it was Tiffy time on top of that. And oh, by the way, they both were rocking Toronto Maple Leafs jerseys, custom-made Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys as well. I don't know, man. Tonight, I think probably would have been the perfect time to do it, especially after, like I said, the results that happened with the Maple Leafs here tonight. Maybe the boys were inspired. They probably saw that on social media and they're like, "Hey, let's get those Rangers, eh?" So I don't know. We'll see, but it worked for them. So they beat the Rangers 3-2. Heartbreak loss for the Rangers. They needed that game. But started out with Trish Stratus cutting a promo, and she, it was fine for what it was worth because he talked about the legacy and how crazy it is. 25 years with Trish Stratus. He talked about with the Lillian Garcia. Rock is back. He's wrestling at the Chamber tomorrow in her hometown. And of course, she talked about that, her kids are going to get to see her in the ring for the first time ever. That's awesome. To actually see her.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. And their two and her son and daughter were both at ringside watching that, which was really cool. And then with Tiffy coming out, and they talked a little bit quick before they got interrupted. And they got interrupted by Piper Niven and the United States Women's Champion Chelsea Green. And you know what? You can say whatever you want to say, but this is gonna. She took a little jab. She took a little jab at the Leafs fans, saying that unlike her team captain Austin Matthews, that she actually wins. Ooh.
Oof.
Yeah. Duh.
Well, the Maple Leafs haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967. So
yeah, but Chelsea, you didn't need to do that. I mean, you're from Toronto.
Chelsea's from Vancouver, BC.
Yeah, actually, true. So she went there. She ripped. So yeah, and that led to the first fight of the night: Tiffany Stratton versus Chelsea Green, non-title, obviously, because we got champion versus champion. And when it was all said and done, winner of the bout in 3 minutes and 15 seconds was Tiffany Stratton. But oh wait, no, I stand corrected. The fight got thrown out. the fight was thrown out because Candice LeRae and Nia Jax hit the ring, and basically it turned into a brawl. So this was more segment than anything else. So look, I don't mind how they played this match out. This was more last second fill for the match tomorrow night at skydome, and I'm cool with this. I think this was a good way to plug the fight, everything else. And if you notice, the baby faces almost got a leg up. Tiffany and Trish got the advantage, and Tiffany went for the prettiest moonsault ever, and then Nia pulled her out. So it protected the fact that we almost had booking 101, which would have been a horrible situation, but it never really panned it out. The heels came in, they try to get the leg up. The baby faces fought back, but the baby faces doesn't get the big moment where they would have had the stand tall moment and everything else, because, like we said, Tiffany went for the prettiest moonsault ever, and Nia pulled Candice out of the fire just before she went for the move. So it basically saves everything, and we'll set up for that match later on. Anthony Florio, even though the fight was a throwout, it as a segment, it did everything it needed to do. Good final build heading into Chamber tomorrow night.
Yeah. First off, great to see Trish. I mean, you couldn't think of a better way to start it off than that. I mean, yeah, it made this Raw guy very excited for the show tonight. Her and Tiffany with those custom jerseys. Of course, this is the 25th anniversary of Trish Stratus. So you saw the 25 on hers. Tiffy had 41. And I think we all know what that's a nod to. WrestleMania 41, when she defends the WWE Women's Championship against the Queen Charlotte Flair. And we're going to have to NA this match here. They traded control back and forth several times to make this bout feel competitive. Tiffany had a slight power advantage, but not enough to make it feel uneven. Sadly, the match ended prematurely when Nia and Candice interfered. So there wasn't enough meat on the bone for this bout to be anything special, especially with a DQ, no contest, a throwaway ending. So you saw the emotion on Trish. Trish looked a little choked up at some of those chants for her.
Yeah.
So you saw that. The bump that Chelsea took from a spinebuster did not look fun. And Tiffany's swanton from the top rope to the floor almost ended badly. But this is going to have to be an NA. This has been the theme this week. Champion versus champion. Well, even though it was not title for title or anything. WWE Women's Champion versus Women's United States Champion. It's a shame that they only got 3 and change to do anything. I wouldn't mind seeing them run it back at some point. Give them a proper match. So give them a proper match. You could be looking at a low-key banger here. Low-key. So we'll see. But for now, MF, it's going to have to be an NA. The segment was great. I'm not going to say great. Segment was fine. And but seeing Trish, that was more than worth it for me. And seeing her get choked up and emotional for those chants, and tomorrow night knowing that the little ones, the youngins, are going to get to see her wrestle for the first time. Oh, damn, that's awesome. So those youngins are going to be taking home some memories tomorrow night. Trust me when I tell you. So seeing Mama wrestle for the first time. So NA for now, MF. And now we move on to something very interesting. A very interesting decision made by your national treasure of a general manager.
Yeah. Basically what happened was, as many of you guys know, this was supposed to have been the night where it was going to be Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight. However, there was word that got out that Shinsuke was not going to be there because there was a tragedy in the family. I guess a family member just recently died. So our thoughts and prayers are with Nakamura. And Nick Aldis just out of nowhere was like, you know what? I'm gonna put everybody up for grabs. So we're gonna have 6 men competing tonight, and the winners of those matches will get to face on later in the night in the main event. And the winner of that match will become the #1 contender for the United States Heavyweight Championship. So the first fight of the night we had was Jacob Fatu versus Andrade one-on-one. Winner of the bout in 8 minutes and 25 seconds, Jacob Fatu. He goes on and he has advanced to the final match later tonight, Anthony. So Jacob Fatu in 8:25. Your thoughts?
Well, here's the thing. Initially, Nick Aldis booked Solo Sikoa for this.
Yeah.
But Solo Sikoa took himself out and put Jacob Fatu in. Great move, by the way. Great move. So 2.5, 2 3/4 for this. I'll tell you this. Jacob Fatu, we all know this. Jacob Fatu is portrayed as a massive powerhouse, but he and Andrade are not that different in size. So this felt like an even matchup in a lot of ways. Jacob had the strength, but El Idolo had the agility and speed. This was a very physical and highly entertaining bout. Both guys were working their asses off to make this as exciting as possible. And the Samoan Werewolf picked up the win with his signature moonsault and a rarity, MF. He did it clean without any help. No Solo Sikoa, no Tama He did it by himself cleanly. That's awesome. Without help from anybody in the group. Andrade's Hurricanrana over the top rope looked awesome. And the reverse Rana also looked great. And Fatu sold it like a champ. Outcome never in doubt. I mean, if it was Solo, I don't know. I mean, that could have gone either way. But the minute I heard it was going to be Fatu, I'm like, yeah, Jacob's winning this. So Jacob Fatu, one step closer to a possible United States Championship match. We got to wait and see how the other two play out. But 2.5, 2 3/4 for this. Right outcome. They got it right. So MF, what says you?
Yeah, 2 1/4, 2.5, no doubt about it. Great win for him. It could have been better in certain areas. I'm not going to be too harsh about it because that was a fine win for Jacob Fatu. And the thing was, the crowd in Toronto were definitely on his side this time around. And I know a lot of people are like, did the fans turn on Andrade? Absolutely not. You just ran into somebody who's red hot right now with the fans. Everybody's loving Jacob. So Jacob right now has become the de facto babyface. And there's nothing wrong with Andrade. Andrade was great in this match. He looked very good, very strong. So you can't be mad about the loss. And I know some people are going to be the same way. So it was fine for what it was worth. No doubt about it. So we move on. A lot of promo stuff after this. A lot of promo stuff. The next real match we had was LA Knight versus Santos Escobar. LA Knight wins the match in 12 minutes. He advances to the triple threat later in the night. No big surprise here. Right outcome. The man that was originally the #1 contender was LA Knight. And then for some weird circumstances, they decide that we're going to put your contendership up for grabs. And he advances to the final. I got nothing bad to say about this one. They did a good job with it. Solid matchup. Great win for him. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it is all yours. This is easily I want to say at least 3.5 stars because this was a good one.
And how much time was that?
12 minutes even.
Ah, okay. What happened before this? Let me just say it like this, MF. Your tag team division is out of control.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Nick Aldis Nick Aldis,
Good luck, bro.
you can't contain them by him. He can't contain them by himself. He's going to need the National Guard or
The
in this case,
Canadian Mounties.
he needed the Mounties, and we're not talking Jacques Rougeau either.
Nope.
But man alive, I'm telling you, I think this is going to lead to some. I'm looking at a multi-team ladder match at WrestleMania for those titles. I'm looking at it. That's what's speaking to me as far as that's concerned. And then also before that match, a very good promo segment featuring almost all of the competitors in the men's elimination chamber match, and Logan Paul pulling the Shawn Michaels from that Raw in Montreal in 2005 with Bret Hart. Oh, that was. Now here's the thing: I don't like the guy. I never have. I never will. But what he did on that was absolutely brilliant. I gotta admit that. But and that was a very good segment indeed. So all right, now to the business at hand. Yeah, 3 1/4, 3.5. I'll give it that. These two have very different styles of wrestling, but both men are so versatile that it took them no time at all to find their groove. They fought through a break into the next segment and put on a solid performance together. It feels like we don't get to see enough of Santos Escobar these days, so it was great to see him get more ring time. And some news and notes here. Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes had a respectful exchange backstage before McIntyre spent 20 minutes complaining at ringside. And the way LA Knight sold being sent into the steel steps looked fantastic. He made it look like his face hit right on the edge. So 3 1/4, teetering on 3.5 for this match. Another predictable outcome. So not much really more to say here. I believe we had another promo segment after this. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Yeah. This one was really good. I don't think there's really nothing more to say, man. You want to talk about fanning the flame one last time before everything went down. And as a matter of fact, Kevin Owens was actually in the ring at the Rogers Center. He was in the skydome tonight, and it made it real. That moment makes it all real, because when you're at the site of that arena, of that event, and you're actually physically there, because remember how the night of, I think it was a SmackDown, and I think they had Logan Paul at the site of WrestleMania last year.
Yep.
It brings it together. It almost makes it like, okay, we're really here now. And that's why I kind of got a little more excited, because this time around it was Owens inside the skydome, inside the ring. Now, you know the chamber's there. The chamber was if you've seen the videos, you know the chamber has been set up. It's there. But to be in that ring, inside that facility, inside that stadium, that dome, it makes it more real of what we're about to witness tomorrow night. And it's going to be insane, because, like we said, it is no DQ, no count out, anything goes. And with it being non-sanctioned, it can go a million of different ways how this fight can turn, because it can be the most wildest match we're ever going to see. Non-sanctioned fight is exactly the word, non-sanctioned. In Ring of Honor, they call it a fight without honor. That is their version of non-sanctioned. In any type of wrestling organization, if it's non-sanctioned, that means we wipe our hands clean. We do not want any involvement in this. This is out of our hands. You've pushed us to a point that we don't want nothing to do with this. You get hurt, you're on your own. You can't come at us. You can't sue us. You're doing this on your own fruition. You're doing this on your own terms. Anything that happens, and that's it, we don't care. We'll give you a referee, but that referee is only just there for one reason and one reason only. To either count a 1, 2, 3, or see one of you guys submit. Other than that, this guy has nothing to do with this. You know, for this one time, he's just an official just to be there. He's our only witness. I don't care. After that, we don't care what he said, what we don't want to know. That's it. We're done. So, yeah. This got interesting, man. This was wild. So, Anthony Florio, anytime these two go at it, it's a war. You throw non-sanctioned. I think you might want to set a prayer for both men right about now, because it's gonna get bad tomorrow night.
Oh yeah. And how do you say it in Spanish?
Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo.
That's it. I mean, my sentiments exactly. And man, is that going to be something? One quick thing I forgot to mention about that other promo segment about the Elimination Chamber. We had a funny commentary moment. We're all thinking, you hear Cena's music, MF's freaking out, the what? And then he's saying, oh my God, Cena's here. And then when you see it's Logan Paul, we pulled the WrestleMania 5. MF yells out, wait a minute. And then I did the ha ha. And then you're like, that's not Cena. And I'm like, that's Logan Paul. And then MF would be like, what's the meaning of this? Ugh. Had to get that off my chest real quick. But that's exactly what we did at that moment. But as far as this is concerned, getting back to the serious business at hand here. Amazing. This is personal. This is beyond personal. I mean, Sami Zayn came out. He invited Kevin Owens to the ring, but Kevin Owens was not at the Scotiabank Arena. He was at the Skydome in Toronto, the home of the Elimination Chamber, standing in the middle of an empty ring. He said it was all Sami's fault, and he's going to end his career. And man alive, that is, I don't know what else there is to say. I was starting to get there was something that Kevin Owens said during this that gave me Triple H and Shawn Michaels vibes. When he said that he said to Sami, I'm going to put you in a wheelchair. Does that sound familiar?
Oh yeah.
Triple H said that to Shawn Michaels. And of course, we will most definitely get into it. We'll elaborate a great deal more about this when we preview this match as part of our Elimination Chamber preview in a little bit. But yeah, this was another great segment here. I mean, this one had, you can tell how personal this is. I mean, when you bring family into this, it doesn't get any more personal than that. I mean, Sami mentioned KO's parents by name, and KO mentioned Sami and his wife and his son, and we saw that little moment last week when KO cut that promo from literally outside of Sami's house. I mean, oh man, they're going there. They are going there, and then some. And like I said, we'll elaborate a great deal more when we preview this match in a little bit, but. This promo and the promo with the guys in the chamber, both of those were very well done. They were both so great, I can't put one over the other. They were both that good. So we move on to our final match of the de facto contender tournament here.
Yes, indeed. And it was Braun Strowman going one-on-one with Carmelo Hayes. Unfortunately, this is a cutout, Anthony. Carmelo Hayes wins the match in 1 minute and 30 seconds via disqualification. He pulled the Eddie Guerrero, grabbing a chair, then throwing it to Strowman, laying down on the ground like he got shot and the referee called for the bell, and Strowman gets disqualified. Oh, no. Oh,
Brilliant.
This would have set me off like crazy because I would have been screaming, miscarriage of justice. How could you allow that to happen? And I know Anthony Florio would have been Jesse laughing, saying, "What a stroke of genius by Carmelo Hayes to win that match."
Brilliant.
Oh,
so we got our triple threat main event.
Yes, we do. And then after that, we had a 6-woman tag team fight. Oh, by the way, the 6 women that are in the Elimination Chamber.
Minus
Bianca Belair. Huh?
Minus Alexa Bliss.
Minus Alexa Bliss. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Bayley going up against Roxanne Perez and the new women's tag team champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 8 minutes and 55 seconds was indeed Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez. Perez pinned Bayley to win it. Well, the next thing you know, everything was fine until Alexa Bliss hit the ring and Roxanne Perez got Sister Abigail in the center of the ring. Oh, youch. Well, Anthony, Roxy may have gotten the leg up, but Alexa snuffed that momentum right out.
Oh, did she ever? And this is about 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. This was a pretty standard 6-person bout. We saw every combination of opponents work together. Roxanne Perez got the win for her team with the Pop Rocks. And this was a decent match that had a good amount of time, but Alexa Bliss showing up to attack Roxanne Perez at the end might have been the most interesting part. A couple of sloppy moments kept us from being as good as it could have been. I noticed Liv Morgan's head almost hit the announce table when Bayley took her down with a tope suicida. Wade Barrett was working hard to plant the seeds that Morgan and Rodriguez are not the ones who took out Jade Cargill. And Bianca Belair got some good hang time on her cross body. So yeah, I can only give it about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. But we have an X factor. We have an X factor in this women's elimination chamber match tomorrow night. And her name is Roxanne Perez.
Oh, yeah. She's a wild card now.
You put her over Bayley in this big match here tonight, literally 24 hours before the biggest match of her career. She might not be winning the thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's final 3, at least final 3 or maybe even final 2. Who knows? Because
remember, she was in the final 2 at Royal Rumble, and she got a massive momentum push for that. Is it possible she gets something like that again tomorrow night? We'll see.
Could be. We'll see. But 2.5, 2 3/4. That's the best I can go with it. So not much more to say. MF, Roxanne Perez, huge win, major momentum going into tomorrow night. which puts her into X Factor wildcard status.
I totally agree with that. I'll even go as far to say, 2.5. I think Roxanne Perez she might be the dark horse in this fight, because everybody's talking about Bianca probably being the favorite now. Now that she no longer has to worry about the tag team titles again, like I said, I think that now eliminates Liv Morgan out of the running. A lot of people were thinking, oh, Liv is probably the favorite. Liv is probably going to get the shot again. Now that she's got the women's tag team title, I think that knocks Liv out. Bianca now becomes the clear-cut favorite, but we got two other people that could actually win this thing. Roxanne Perez, but now Alexa Bliss just got a big push tonight, too. She just took out Roxanne with no problems with that Sister Abigail. So, plus now you got that Wyatt 6 thing going. I don't know, boys. I mean, is it? Could we? We'll see. So, nothing more to say. Does lead us to the main event of the evening, the triple threat for the number one contendership. LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and what? Why does it say Braun Strowman? It's not Braun Strowman. It's Jacob Fatu. Wait, darn it! ProWrestling.net screwed it up. So it's Jacob Fatu, Carmelo Hayes, and LA Knight. Why did they put Braun Strowman? I don't know. Idiots. Whoever wrote this is an idiot. Anyway, winner of the bout, 12 minutes, 25 seconds, LA Knight. He successfully defends his number one contendership. There's really nothing more to add, man. It's solid main event, fight of the night. You can say this is an easy prediction. We all knew LA Knight was probably going to get the spot. I think a lot of people are going to be wondering, well, why did they have to go through all that just for LA Knight to win it all? Again, I found out that unfortunately the reason why they had to do this was because this was supposed to be the night LA Knight and Nakamura was supposed to fight. However, due to Nakamura, there was a death in the family. So Nakamura was not he was not even in Canada. He was not even in North America. He is back in Japan, for the funeral, for that family member. Again, thoughts and prayers are with Nakamura and his family right now at this difficult time. And so they had to force it by doing it this way. Now this actually gives LA Knight an opportunity to now you can say, all right, fine. Now we can get, that means either next week or down the line, we'll get LA Knight versus Nakamura. It'll be for the United States Heavyweight Championship. I know a lot of people is a little head scratching about why they had to do this, but I kind of feel like, look, it is what it is. They got stuck in a bind. They got put in a bad spot. And now so instead of trying to scapegoat it, they decide, let's just do these matches just to fill the show. I don't mind it. Because if you're going to give us good quality matches to give us on SmackDown, and this is a little bit something because SmackDown's been very desperate for really good matches because of this 3-hour format, and I'm telling you right now, a lot of the guys, even the writers on SmackDown, does not like this 3-hour format. They're literally counting the days until they can finally go back to that 2-hour format because Raw can do it. But for some odd reason, when it comes to SmackDown, it's like, I don't know if it's because the roster's not right or is it just because of the length of time, so you got to stretch a lot of things out. It feels disjointed. And I think that's why a lot of people have been very, very harsh on SmackDown since the thing. When we heard the 3-hour format, we're like, oh man, let's see how this plays out. I can tell you right now, I think WWE is like, yeah, look, It's a nice try. We appreciate the love, USA, but I think we were really better structured on a 2-hour format when it comes to SmackDown Live. So that's the feeling I'm getting. And I know there's been some dirt sheets that's been saying that they prefer to go back to the 2-hour format. So like I said, they're counting the days now to get to June. And once they get to June, then they'll go back to the 2-hour format. And I think that's when SmackDown will really start to click on all cylinders again. But until then, Anthony Florio, this was a fine main event. It was a 3-star bout. It's yours.
And what was the time again?
12:25.
That's 3 1/4, 3.5 for that. Yeah, I mean, while there were no alliances, it felt like LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes were both fighting an uphill battle against the physically dominant Jacob Fatu. All three men had moments to shine, but the match was at its most fun when they were doing spots with everyone involved. LA Knight ended up stealing the win by pulling Jacob Fatu out of the ring after he hit the moonsault on Carmelo Hayes, a la the ultimate opportunist. This allowed the megastar to run in, get the pin to earn a shot at the U.S. title. The way WWE has presented Shinsuke Nakamura during this run has been amazing. Every vignette has been great. And the way LA Knight scooped up Melo for a power slam was impressive. It looked like it took no effort at all. And Jacob Fatu fell while trying to catch Carmelo Hayes in a crossbody. It was awkward, but LA Knight made everyone forget about it with a springboard crossbody to the floor. Now, I have a little more insight about Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, MF, I know you know we all know MF follows New Japan Pro Wrestling very religiously. And do you remember Osamu Nishimura, who was the gentleman who passed away?
I've heard of the name. Like I said, I do follow New Japan, but this guy was not one of the guys that I used to follow. So no, this was a little bit before my time, before I followed.
Well, he was regarded as one of the great technical wrestlers of his time. He began his pro wrestling career with New Japan all the way back in 1990 and went on to wrestle all over the world, including in North America. He actually worked in ECW, NWA, and CMLL. And aside from New Japan, he also wrestled in AJPW in Japan. And despite dealing with cancer, he continued to wrestle. And his last match coming as late as December the 8th of 2024. And in that match, he teamed with the legendary Dory Funk Jr., who was 83 years old at the time, in a tag team match against Atsushi Onita and Reijin Yaguchi. So that's who. And he was like a mentor and an older brother figure to Shinsuke Nakamura. So that's obviously why Shinsuke Nakamura was not on the show this evening. Our thoughts and our prayers do go out to Nakamura, but also to the Nishimura family and all of his friends and his fans. And, 53, that's still kind of young to me, but it is what it is. So, 3 1/4, another 3 1/4, about 3. I'm actually going to give this a solid 3.5 stars. I'll say by default, I would say by a smidge, this was the fight of the night for me. Outcome never in doubt. LA Knight was the guy going in. So an LA Knight pulling the ultimate opportunist edge bit that Edge made famous years ago. So exactly what happened here tonight. So we'll give this a solid 3.5 stars, and we'll call this the fight of the night. And well, there was one last order of business here tonight. The voice of the WWE, the legendary Michael Cole, bringing out the WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, for an in-ring interview before Cody makes the biggest decision of his life tomorrow night.
And that is definitely one thing that we need to talk about, because look at where it led. Sure enough, this whole night, Cody was getting special perks by Dwayne The Rock Johnson, his own personal locker room, his own, got his own catering, got his own, whatever. He talked about, Rock talked to him about all the things that he could get, all the riches, everything that he talked about. As long as you give me what I want, and that's your soul. And he wanted him to be that corporate champion. And he had many guys talking to him about it. He had Drew McIntyre. He had Miz mentioned about it. CM Punk even mentioned it. And Michael Cole, during that interview, Anthony, The Rock surprised Cody Rhodes with a custom-made 4x4 truck. Yeah. And it all's going to lead to this big decision that Cody's got to make tomorrow night. Will he sell out? Will he sell his soul to Dwayne The Rock Johnson and be his corporate champion? I mean, this is, Anthony, your thoughts on everything.
Well, tonight's show ended with Michael Cole interviewing Cody Rhodes about what he will do with The Rock's offer. The Rock had a custom truck sent over as a gift for Cody. The Rock ended the show with a video saying he knows Cody will make the right decision tomorrow night. But there was one. But all right, now they've with the only 8 day, the only week they had, they've only had a week to really build this thing. I mean, we talked about it at nauseum last week, and I know we're gonna get it a little more into it ad nauseum in just a moment or so as part of our preview. I'm sure we're going to include this, and yeah, I mean, they did a solid job. I mean, we were very confused because of how bizarre it came off as. It came off very bizarre, awkward, and dare I say at times cringe at times. But now that we know what this is all about, we definitely have something to work off of here. And we always talk about subtle nuances, subtle hints about that serve as foreshadowing. The Rock had that weight belt. It said Cody's soul on it. But underneath, it had the date June 11th, 2015. The exact day that Cody's father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, passed away. Oh my. Cody's got some thinking to do, but I'm telling you, we got this feeling that he's going to turn it down. He's going to turn him down. And I wouldn't be surprised if that weight belt with the date of his father's death on it, that doesn't like light a fire under Cody. I mean, if you did that with my dad, that would have set me off. That would literally have set me off. If somebody like that had done the same thing, had done the exact same thing The Rock did with that weight belt, putting the date of your dad's death on it. Yeah, that's out of bounds. That's a little out of bounds as far as I'm concerned. But it's good for heat. It got the heat there. So yeah, I mean they did a very good job, giving Cody a reason to consider this. I mean, he got a comfy, cozy locker room of his own, a VIP locker room, an incredible spread, a great catered spread, and then he got that sweet truck, which is exactly like The Rock's, only it's in what Cody's was in red and had Cody's logo and all that on there. So a great final sell, and this segment tomorrow night is going to be something else. And I'm not a fan of promo segments during pay-per-views, but this is one of the rare times I will make an exception because this promo is actually intriguing, and And what happens with this promo tomorrow night will definitely serve as a shakeup as we now officially kickstart the road to WrestleMania 41 in 7 weeks. So very well done. It gave Cody reasons to think about this. I mean, McIntyre confronted him. CM Punk confronted him. And CM Punk, there was a nuance, a foreshadowing. He said something that really caught my ear, MF. CM Punk said, "I hate Dwayne." You heard him say it. "I hate Dwayne." Do you? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if that statement holds true. If what we think happens does happen. So we'll wait and see on that. So great final sell. That's all I can say. Great final sell. Gave Cody reasons to think about this whole thing. And tomorrow night, MF, we get the payoff. Simple.
Somebody actually posted something earlier today that actually caught my ear. Or I should say caught my eye. There's a third guy. Because we've heard Cena. I've heard Punk. And now somebody else just drew a new name. Another person that's in the chamber.
Yep.
Who could actually be The Rock's champion if he wants it. Or dare I say, chosen one.
Yep. I read that dirt sheet. There was a spoiler dirt sheet earlier. I read it. I know what you're talking about.
So we'll get into that in a little bit. So yeah. Solid for what it's worth. Anthony, overall review, you lead off.
I'm gonna give it around 7.5. Tonight's SmackDown spent a lot of time hyping tomorrow's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, but it also included a lot of storylines that will not be part of the event. Jacob Fatu versus Andrade, great matchup. They had the crowd on their feet with an exciting performance. Fatu came up short against LA Knight later in the show, but he made a big impression. Tomorrow's Chamber event only has 4 matches scheduled to take place, but with 2 of them being inside the chamber, along with that segment, WWE should have more than enough action to fill up a few hours. Overall, tonight's SmackDown felt a bit long at times, but it was not a bad episode by any means. It just didn't do all that much to stand out either. So I'm leaning around the 7.5 threshold for this. So MF, your overall thoughts, and then we'll preview the Elimination Chamber.
7 out of 10, definitely no doubt about it. And yeah, it was fine for what it was worth. You said everything we needed to say. All right, here we go. This is it. Chamber time. Elimination Chamber tomorrow night from the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And like Anthony alluded to, there are only 4 matches on the fight card right now as it stands. And here we go. So we start off. Let me see if it gives. All right. So we're gonna do it a little differently, obviously, with everything going on. So Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn non-sanctioned fight. This is the hardest one to call. Like, honestly and truthfully, I have no idea how this is going to play out. I'm going to call Sami Zayn to win this because I heard a rumor about a certain Viper might show up. And if he does, Owens, you might be falling to the 3 most dangerous letters in all WWE. And if that ends it, I could see, you know what? I could see it end with the RKO that was set up, and I'm going to say it, the brain buster by Sammy to lead into a haluva kick to end Kevin Owens right then and there. I say Sami Zayn knocks off Kevin Owens in the non-sanction, but I'm telling you, boys, this is going to be brutal. This is not going to be for the faint of heart, and I'm telling you, these two men are going to get hurt. It's going to be that brutal of a fight. So, nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
The old put the women and children to bed fight here.
Pretty much, yes, agreed.
All right, now when it comes to this, MF, this is going to be an agree to disagree in just a moment. There are a few pairings as reliable in delivering a great story and great match as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. There's no reason WWE would have them have a single one-off match, which leaves the question of whether they would prefer the story moving forward with Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens looking for retribution. Sami Zayn is always better on the chase, as with any great babyface, which I believe which would suggest for me, I believe Kevin Owens being the man willing to go a little too far to get the victory in an unsanctioned environment. With that in mind, I'm actually gonna go with Kevin Owens to win this match. That's the disagree part, but the agree part, I do agree with you. I do believe Randy Orton will get involved. I could see it after the match. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Owens does a package pile driver or two on Sami Zayn, and I'll even take it a step further. I think Kevin Owens will win this match via referee stoppage. I think the referees are going to call the match. Sami will not be able to continue, and then KO will go for the kill. We'll try to take him out, and then that's when you hear Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton will go after Kevin Owens, and I believe it will set up Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. So agree to disagree on this one, MF. I do see Randy Orton getting involved, but I don't see him helping Sami win the match. I think Kevin Owens is going to win this match via referee stoppage.
Okay, fair enough. Next up is the tag team fight. The women's champion Tiffany Stratton and hometown girl Trish Stratus goes up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So, Florio, it's yours.
MF, Tiffany Stratton needs this win, plain and simple. The WWE Women's Champion will defend her title against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Having Nia Jax and Candice LeRae go over is counterproductive to building intrigue for that women's title match. Charlotte Flair is the winningest women's world champion in WWE history. Tiffany Stratton, a first-time main roster title holder, is already the underdog. There is no need to further stack the odds or chips against her. Winners of the match, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. What says UMF?
I agree. I don't see them losing this one at all. I think this is going to be a fine matchup. I think, like you said, I think there's really nothing more to add here. So let's move on. Next up we have is the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which is Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Naomi, and Roxanne Perez. All right. So let's do process by elimination. I don't see Naomi winning this match. I really don't. I think her storyline is going to lead her to something else. So I don't think she's gonna get it. Bayley, I know a lot of people want to see Bayley win it all, but I just don't see it happening. I don't. I honestly don't think it's going to be her. Liv Morgan, like I said, going into this, I think a lot of people thought Liv is probably one of the favorites to win it all, but I don't see it happening now. After winning the women's tag team titles, that I thought eliminated her altogether out of the mix. So she's out. We're down to Bianca, Alexa, and Roxanne. You can make an argument for any one of these three. I don't see Roxanne getting it because of the fact that she's really new on the main roster, and you can tell that they're moving her around. They're putting her through NXT. She's on SmackDown. We've seen her on Raw. You really don't know where Roxanne truly fits right now. And they've been moving her around. She's probably going to be the Iron Woman of the match. She may be the one starting the fight, but I don't see her going all the way to the end of winning it all. I don't. I honestly don't. That leaves Bianca and Alexa. I've heard rumors that it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. That's been the rumor. That's been the talk. That's been supposedly the plan all along. That this is where it was going to lead us to WrestleMania. Now, I know a lot of people are getting sick and tired of seeing Bianca at the top, getting these opportunities, and she is becoming very Charlotte Flair-esque. And the thing is, she is a big name. She has been in these big WrestleMania moments, but there is an underlying fan base that is sick and tired of seeing Bianca at the top. And by whatever case may mean, fans have not turned on her, but there is a small minority that is turning on Bianca Belair. That is saying that they're sick and tired of her, that they don't want to see her at the top. You know, they don't understand the popularity she gets and the whole 9 yards. And there are some fans that is pushing for Alexa to win it all. Because Alexa just got back. He deserves an opportunity, the whole 9 yards, and everything else. And it would be a fresh matchup because we've never had Alexa Bliss versus either Io Sky or Rhea Ripley. I just don't see Alexa getting it. Not yet. I think she would be maybe a future women's champion on SmackDown because she is going to SmackDown. And the thing is, if you want this to be for exclusively Monday Night Raw, you got to go with a Raw girl. So for me, Bianca would fit that bill. Liv would fit that bill. Hell, even Roxanne Perez would fit that bill. Because right now, those 3 women are exclusive to Monday Night Raw. To me, Bianca's probably the only one of these 3 that would make the most logical sense of winning it all. To me, this was hard in one sense because, again, different names, different individuals who could win this. But here's also the factor that you can also bring. The Jade Cargill situation. You can set up Jade coming back, going after Naomi first, because I think that's the original plan. Naomi, to go after Naomi, see Bianca win the title, and then we might get Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. Because I have always believed Bianca has been the reason why Jade got hurt in the first place. This is the theory that I've been working with for a little bit. I think Naomi has been an accomplice, and she probably carried out the job. But I think it was a 2-person job. I think Naomi and Bianca both took Jade out. And they tried to pin it on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Jade will show up eventually, and she will reveal that it was them 2 that took her out. And the mission will be very clear. Jade will be on a seek and destroy mission that will land her eventually to become the women's world champion. She takes out Naomi at WrestleMania. She gets Bianca Belair at SummerSlam, and then Jade Cargill will be the next Women's World Champion at SummerSlam, and that will lead into whatever they need to do for the remainder of the year. Anthony Florio, that's my theory. That's what I'm thinking. That's my little bold prediction, as you may say. I got Bianca Belair winning the Elimination Chamber, and that's kind of my fantasy booking all the way up until SummerSlam. What says you?
Holy hell, I don't know how to follow that, but you know the words of my boy Ben Stein, you know I got to do it. I shall do my best. So, okay. If we're going to do the process of elimination theory here, you're exactly right about Liv Morgan. All right. Liv Morgan, as we all know, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez this past Monday Night on Raw they three-peated. They became 3-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, defeating Bianca Belair and Naomi in a hell of a main event on Monday night. And I believe her and Raquel will be defending those women's tag team titles, perhaps against maybe Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross because of this whole Wyatt Six stuff. So you saw some Wyatt Six stuff flashing as Alexa Bliss took out Roxanne Perez tonight. So I think that'll cancel Liv and Alexa out. Bayley had her moment 1 year ago. Last year, Bayley won. Not only did Bayley win the Women's Royal Rumble match, she also went on to WrestleMania 40 and captured the WWE Women's Championship from Io Sky in an amazing match. So that'll cancel Bayley out. Naomi, I agree with you. I think we're possibly setting up a match between her and Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. So that'll be one hell of a match if that happens. So I think we could cancel Naomi out. So it comes down to Bianca and Roxanne. Roxanne Perez, of course, is on a major push right now. Last month at the Royal Rumble, she set a new Women's Royal Rumble longevity record, 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 47 seconds, and finished as the runner-up to Charlotte Flair. She is the X Factor, the clear X Factor, wild card, whatever you want to call it, in this match. There is a very outside chance that WWE could give Roxanne this match. If Roxanne wins this match, oh my goodness, her against Rhea at Mania, that would be something else. But at the end, though, Bianca Belair losing the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship Monday Night on Raw could be a sign the promotion is preparing her for another singles run. There aren't many compelling women's singles stars right now, and Bianca Belair is one of their most accomplished. Belair versus Ripley is something fans have been waiting for 2 years. They could have done this 2 years ago, but we all thought for sure when Rhea won the Women's Royal Rumble 2 years ago, all of us and our mothers thought that Bianca Belair was going to go after that Rhea Ripley was going to go after Bianca Belair and the Raw Women's Championship. But creative, they threw us a curveball and they gave us Rhea versus Charlotte. Disappointed, yes, but at the same time, those jeers turned to cheers in no time because those two at 39 gave us what I still consider to this day the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history. 5 stars and beyond. Go out of your way to see it if you haven't already. It was that damn good. Now then, as I was saying, Belair versus Ripley is something fans have been waiting for. They have never had a singles match against each other on the main roster. And I got one more thing that adds to this intrigue, MF. Bianca Belair is undefeated at WrestleMania. Bianca Belair has never lost a match at WrestleMania. So this would be a pseudo title versus streak match, if you really think about it. But based on all that, MF, I 100% agree with you. The winner of the women's elimination chamber match, it is the EST. It's going to be the EST, Bianca Belair. And we'll get the match we should have gotten 2 years ago with Bianca and Rhea. But this time it'll be for the Women's World Championship in Vegas. Holy hell, what a match that's going to be. That could give the Rhea and Charlotte match from 2 years ago a run for its money as the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history. So I'm going with Bianca Belair as well. I agree with you. So we have a men's elimination chamber match to get into now as I give it to you. I got Bianca as well.
All right. And you're going to lead off on the men's, as it will be the men's elimination chamber match for the right to fight Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania. The participants in this matchup, no particular order: John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, and Seth freaking Rollins. Whoa. All right, Anthony, it's your call. Who do you got?
All right. If we're gonna do the process by a process of elimination theory, let's take this one for a spin. First things first, I'm ruling out Damian Priest. Damian Priest, just like Bayley last year, he had his big moment last year when he cashed in Money in the Bank and won the World Heavyweight Championship. I think he's on a collision course with perhaps Drew McIntyre, but I don't know. I'll get back to him in a second. Logan Paul, I think we can rule him out too. There's not much intrigue for a Priest and Cody match. There's not an intrigue for Logan and Cody. Seth freaking Rollins, he's on a collision course with Roman Reigns. I've even heard some rumblings that Roman might show up tomorrow night and he might screw Seth out of this match. And if he should do that, that will kickstart a Roman Reigns, Seth freaking Rollins match at WrestleMania. So that cuts the field in half. There was a spoiler article that came out earlier this afternoon or earlier today. And that spoiler article reported Drew McIntyre as the winner of this match. There is a little bit of a backstory there. Because go back to the Raw on Netflix premiere on January 6th. Drew McIntyre and The Rock were chatting it up. What could that have been about? Could that have a tie into this? I don't know. But in all honesty, I don't see it. I don't think it'll be McIntyre. Besides, McIntyre won this match last year. Him winning last year made 100% sense. For him to win it, him and Cody, that's a good match, but that doesn't really scream WrestleMania main event to me. A main event on a B pay-per-view, yes, it does. But not a WrestleMania-worthy main event. As great as the match would be. And it would be a great match. It really would. He's already a heel. It makes no sense. That leaves John Cena and CM Punk. A week ago on this program, when this whole Rock Soul thing came up, good old MF, Michael Flecha, made a beyond convincing argument about why John Cena would be perfect as the man to sell his soul to the final boss. Because let's be realistic. Cody Rhodes is going to say no. He's going to tell The Rock to stick it where the sun don't shine. He'll say, I appreciate what you did for me. I appreciate the comfy, cozy locker room, that incredible catered spread. I even appreciate the truck. But I'm not going to be your champion. The only champion I am is their champion. And he's got a good reason for that. Because hello, Cody is only the most over guy in the company, adored by men, women, and especially the children. The children absolutely adore Cody Rhodes. If you haven't seen some of the things on social media that Cody has done for the kids in and out of the ring, why would you give all that up? And it would make his emotional journey 1 year ago to finishing the story make absolutely no sense, as evidenced as what Seth freaking Rollins said on Raw Monday night in that great promo those two had. All right, now there is a fair amount of drama heading into this match, but this decision feels like it comes down to John Cena or CM Punk. John Cena's return for his quote-unquote retirement tour has been, I got to be honest, has been disappointing in his near total absence from WWE programming. Unless he's ready to actually be on television week in and week out, I believe there's no reason to strap the biggest match of the year to his back right now. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes have had some excellent confrontations, and it felt like a fuse was lit in their recent face-to-face on Monday Night Raw, that final Raw before the Royal Rumble. For those reasons, CM Punk edges out John Cena for this prediction. But then again, of course, nobody was calling for Jey Uso to win the Men's Royal Rumble match. So for me, this prediction is made with no degree of certainty that the four other men in the match are out of the running to get the win. I mean, could Cena win? Sure. Absolutely. But Michael Bullock made a great convincing argument when we had our group outing the other night, or last Sunday night. He said that it would make zero sense for John Cena to turn heel in his final year. Now I know MF would say, but what did John Cena say during that Royal Rumble press conference? Best for business. Yes, the old authority slogan. That was their tagline. That was their catchphrase. Would I be surprised if Cena won this match? No, certainly not. Cena versus Cody, that's a WrestleMania main event. Cody would just be over a year as champion. Cena looking for 17. He could sell his soul. He could do it. And if John Cena were to do it, it would be Hulk Hogan at Bash at the Beach 96 when he turned on the Macho Man Randy Savage and joined forces and was the third man with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and which led to the formation of one of the greatest and most iconic stables in the history of professional wrestling, and one of our personal favorite stables, also the New World Order. And it would also be like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon at the end of WrestleMania 17, after Vince McMahon helped Stone Cold beat The Rock, and that legendary call by JR at the end. JR's commentary really put that thing over the top. And it would be exactly like those two things, but this would be even bigger. Could the leader of the C Nation turn his back on the WWE universe, completely abandoning hustle, loyalty, and respect, which has been his way of life for the last 20 plus years? There's always an outside chance of that. There certainly is a chance of that. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I could see John Cena possibly being the one to go up against Logan Paul at WrestleMania, because I know they've been talking about a Cena-Paul match. I could see McIntyre possibly against Priest. And then, of course, Seth Rollins. I believe he's on a collision course with Roman Reigns. And I wouldn't be surprised if Roman shows up and screws Rollins in this match after what Rollins did to him at the Royal Rumble with that curb stomp on the steel steps. So there's only one logical choice. And especially after what he said on the show tonight, when he had that little confrontation with Cody in the backstage area. You heard him say clear as day, "I hate Dwayne. I smell a swerve, bro. I smell a big time swerve, bro." Winner of the men's elimination chamber match, CM Punk. And even if Punk doesn't win, even let's say Cena does win, remember, that doesn't necessarily mean the end of the road for CM Punk, because remember, CM Punk still has that favor from Paul Heyman. And he could easily use that to cash it in and have Paul Heyman talk to The Rock and have The Rock, and he books a match with John Cena and CM Punk on the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania, where the winner gets Cody for the title on night 2. Punk wins that. And then the next night, Punk turns heel, wins the title, and then we get CM Punk and The Rock, which could be the second coming of Austin and McMahon. This would make more sense this would feel more of an Austin McMahon when you really think about it. Considering he said, "I hate Dwayne. I smell a big time swerve." So I got CM Punk winning the men's chamber match. Cody's gonna say no to Rock, and then let the chips fall where they may after that. So I got Punk winning. MF, 1 week ago on this program, you made a very convincing argument for John Cena. And you had me. You even baited me in, hook, line, and sinker. But after what a certain one of the best content creators on this platform, who's way more over than we will ever be, will never be as over as this gentleman. And no, it's not that other guy. It's not him. I'm talking about someone else. But anyways, there isn't much more to say here. CM Punk wins this match. And the argument that he made for CM Punk, he baited me in just a little bit more. At first, I was leaning towards you and Cena. But it's got to be Punk now. It's got to be. So I got CM Punk winning. So MF, are you going to agree with me, or are you going to stick with your Cena theory?
I really want to stick with the Cena because he really triggered, like I said, that Royal Rumble comment still holds true and still resonates with me. I don't know why, but something about it. And look, what was the one thing everybody's been begging for Cena to do in his entire career? Turn heel.
Yep.
Be the heel. Be the bad guy. Give us a reason to hate you. And the thing is, Cena could never do it because obviously the Make-A-Wish thing, everything else, blah, 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 blah. Cena's been out of the forefront now. And Roman Reigns has been the Make-A-Wish person now. Cody Rhodes has been the Make-A-Wish person now. They can maneuver and have different people be that Make-A-Wish person now. Cena has the golden opportunity that he could turn and people would be all for it. So, yeah, Cena would be perfect. And I kind of felt like going in that Cena was going to be the guy. Because the way he said it, what's best for business. Rock is the business now. He's bigger and higher ranked than Triple H. Remember that. He outranks Hunter. So why would Cena say best for business for no particular reason? It's best for business for me to be in the main event at WrestleMania and winning the 17th championship? Like, that that came off so heel-like that I was like, whoa, where did this come from? Now, if CM Punk still won, I don't know how people would feel about it. Yes, I know some people would be good with it, but why would Punk sell out to The Rock? And the thing is, for that fact of the main event for WrestleMania, okay, fine, I get it. But here's the one thing I can say is this. Could I see Cena win it? Yes. Punk could win it as well. So it's basically them two. But I kind of feel like Cena gets the moment, Punk calls the favor, and then he inserts himself in, making it a triple threat. You'll still get the outcome of Punk winning the title, and maybe Punk sells his soul, whatever. But I feel like they want to have John Cena in the main event at WrestleMania. This is his last Mania. Why on earth would you not want Cena there? I think if they do Cena in his last match and he's not the main event, I think would be criminally, absolutely just horrible in my mind. The man has put his blood, his sweat, and his tears in his career since the very beginning. Now I can see Cena not winning the title, and then maybe they go a different direction. But at least for now, you gotta at least consider him to be in the main event. Now you'll get your payoff down the line, but something would just make me say, "Damn!" If Cena doesn't win that. Now, I kind of feel like why would I get the theory about why you do CM Punk and everything else, but for me, it doesn't make any sense. If Punk is that adamant about, and he said, young CM Punk would have taken that deal. Hook, line, and sinker, no doubt about it. But now I don't care about, I'm not a big fan of Dwayne. I'm not a fan of The Rock. And why would he turn his back on the fans unless it's with the legit fact that he does that? The thing I would say would be this. Maybe here's the theory I would get. Punk loses, Cena wins. Cena goes to Mania. Punk calls the favor from
Paul Heyman.
To get Rock involved, to get Rock to do it, to let Punk in through triple threat. Or does Punk send Roman to The Rock and is like, look, I know you don't, look, this is family and everything else. Why don't you let Punk through just this one time? Under the advisement of the tribal chief, this is where now you can go two ways. Punk relents, either Rock relents. Do we get Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania? Do we get the dream fight? Or does Rock say, you know what? Fine. And then maybe there's something in between where maybe Rock tells Roman, then you owe me something at that point. We'll see. Could that be down the line? Then you can do Punk selling his soul. He takes the belt and everything else. But right now, I'm still going to ride the John Cena train here because, like I said, that best for business thing is really weighing on me. And I think WWE wants to give Cena that one final big match because they're working this angle about him main eventing at WrestleMania. And that was the ultimate mission that they wanted it to do. He's not going to get the 17th. He will get it eventually, but not here. Not at Mania. Because maybe Punk does get it. Maybe Punk does sell out. Or maybe they do Drew McIntyre. You don't know. But I kind of feel like for now, Cena gets what he wants because he is who he is. A lot of people thought Cena should have won Royal Rumble. We saw a stunning upset. We saw something out of nowhere that nobody saw coming. That Jey Uso was a 1,000,000-to-1 shot, and he got it. Now, Jey Uso was definitely in the mix, but honestly, he was what? 5th, 6th, 7th pick to win the Royal Rumble? He wasn't the favorite. And he won it. Now, could they swerve us here? Absolutely. Could Logan Paul win it all? Very possible. But the thing is what's this decision going to be? I still feel like Cena is going to win this. Because I think that they're still going to want to push Cena to be in the main event at WrestleMania. Punk is going to have to call the favor in. And that's why I do believe it's going to be a triple threat. I don't see this as just a one-off. And to do Punk versus Cena one-on-one? No. I want to kibosh that one now. That would be absolutely a pointless move. You don't need to do that. Punk and Cena both deserve to be in the main event at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes deserves to be in that match at WrestleMania. You don't need to do it as a one-on-one. We had multi-man matches in the main event at WrestleMania before. We had it at WrestleMania 20. We've had it at WrestleMania 30. We've had it at 16 with 4 men. It can be done and done correctly. I believe the main event of this year's WrestleMania Night 2 will be John Cena, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE title. Cena wins at Chamber tomorrow night. Punk will call in the favor that will get him in to that main event at night 2. Then you let the chips fall where they may. Then you can get the CM Punk selling his soul and winning the WWE title. That's the theory that I have. That's where I go with everything. That will appease Anthony Florio and everybody else who wants CM Punk to be in the main event. You'll get him in the main event. John Cena gets what he wants, to be in the main event, to go after the 17. And, of course, Cody Rhodes will say no to The Rock, and he will be thrown into a war to get himself to that belt, to that thing. That's my theory. That's where I think it's going to go. All right, we're done. We're out of here. So, obviously, I think me and Anthony both agree. Cody will say no to Rock on that theory, and we'll just move on. So tomorrow night, we'll have the recap of the Elimination Chamber. We'll wait and see how long the show goes. It could be 10:30, could be 11 o'clock. We don't know, but we will do it tomorrow night. For Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Flecha. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow night, right here on the Braves Fan 95 for the recap of the Elimination Chamber.
Goodbye.